Welcome to Child Abuse Awareness with Darlene J. Clark.
Hello, welcome to another episode of Child Abuse Awareness with Darlene J. Clark. I was a little bit behind, y'all, so I figured I need to do another one of these to get some information out there to y'all on top of not just the foster care, but this other information as well. Without further ado, let's go ahead and do Matthew 18, verse 6. But whoso shall offend one of these little ones which believe in me, it were better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck, that he were drowned in the depth of the sea. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Let me go ahead and I'll try to put the trigger warning just in case there's anything said. So first of all, I want to show y'all, which is going to be pretty soon. It's going to be my website, which is going to be it's going to be the book and everything. So figured I'll show y'all that too, so y'all can be looking for it soon. This is my new book to be Unshackled from Silent Change to the Bold Truth. That's picking it up like pretty good, I guess, right there. Okay, yes, he changed that. Yes, I'm glad about that. Okay, now let me get that out of the way. Say, how are you doing today, Bucket List? Good to see you. So let's go to. So let me get back over here to StreamYard because it made it so small. See what I mean by making it small right here? That's what I'm saying. It needs to leave it alone, so I don't have to keep playing with it, getting back and forth. Okay, so here is operational. I got this in my email. So, rescue supports police child sexual abuse investigations. Operation Digital. This is our rescue. You see on the back of his shirt, the back of his coat right here. Our rescue. Here are some of the perpetrators right there that got arrested. Operation Digital, 6 arrests for child sex abuse material across Latin America. Okay, so they're letting me know in Latin America, law enforcement continue to confront the growing spread of child sexual abuse material. These horrific cases often begin with an online tip that leads police to uncover real sexual abuse involving children. Below are 4 recent child sexual abuse material investigations that led to the arrest of 7 individuals and the rescues of multiple children. Trying to make sure that the text was. Okay, Operation 1. Ecuadorian authorities identified a man who exploited a familial relationship with a minor to commit sexual abuse and produce child sex abuse material. That's what SCAM stands for. Police carried out an operation that rescued 2 children. The perpetrator was convicted and sentenced to 38 years in prison. So let me go over here and go on down to. I like to do a little celebratory type of thing when they do that. The comment, oh yeah. If I could get it to go down further, guess I can see all that kind of stuff too. So I want to do a little celebration each time. Should we do the siren? Woohoo! Operation 2. Also in Ecuador, local law enforcement initiated an extensive operation in partnership with the Attorney General's Office and the Ecuadorian National Police Cybercrimes Unit, Cyberpo, enacted on a report from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, NCMEC. During the operation, officers arrested a suspect and seized multiple devices that contained an astounding 500 files of child sexual abuse material that has been distributed through an online account. So let's get him the little siren, please, too, right? Operation Operation 3, on another occasion, was started as a digital investigation in Ecuador, led authorities to a child who was being harmed by a member of his own family. Law enforcement moved quickly to intervene, arresting the suspect, seizing multiple devices containing 100 files of child sexual abuse material, evidence, and most importantly, getting the child to safety. I won't do the, he can bounce his way to jail, right? So Operation 4, then over a 3-day period, Chile's investigative police executed 5 search warrants targeting individuals suspected of possessing child sex abuse material. The operation resulted in the arrest of 2 men, and officers seized multiple mobile devices containing the illicit material as part of the investigation. It says operations like these focus on finding predators, collecting evidence, and ensuring that the children who are being exploited are located and connected to appropriate survivor care. Our rescue assists law enforcement in cases like these by coordinating resources and offering support to ensure timely operations and arrest. So I could close that page out. So I'm going to do a little clapping of hands with that one. Okay, so now get on to the gist of it. I'm glad you're doing good. Thank you. So here comes the internet safety for parents, our rescue. Okay, first, here's going to be a story on sextortion, a true story on that.
We have a family member who was 16, 15 at
See, I don't know if you can hear it or not, so I got to go to my thing and see if it can be heard. Hold on.
Military tanks. They suddenly produced no smoke
Okay, hold on.
and moved.
He's not my dad. 3 small words, signed by a trembling.
I'm sorry about that. Hold on a minute while I try to get to this in here to make sure it can be heard. Sorry about that. Hold on a minute while I try to
the time and struck up a relationship on Instagram with a girl his age, and they went back and forth chatting for a couple weeks, and of course she's presented to be, you know, cute, attractive, sweet, and gained his trust after asking that they maybe exchange some pictures. It turned out not to be who they thought it was, and immediately this person
Hold on a minute.
changed and asked for $5,000, or they were going to send those pictures to the top 10 people in his Instagram list. To his credit, he went to his dad and explained to him what happened, and they called the police, but there was really nothing they could do. It did turn out that whoever this person was sent out those pictures, and I'm sure that was horrifying. He has the tools and the family and the support to work through it, and I know there's a lot of kids that don't, and that's something that's terrifying too, is how if kids are ashamed or have done something wrong, but don't feel like they have anyone to talk to about it or come to about it. I know that can be pretty devastating. And I think they handled it the best they could, but it was definitely a warning to it can happen to anyone. The first time that we were watching it, I said, who are those people in the background? And she said she didn't know. I said, can you talk to them? And she said, yeah. And that I just didn't, I had no idea. That could be anybody. Even if it looked like an 11-year-old girl, it could be a 50-year-old man. We needed to tell her just to beware.
He probably would play any video game you put in front of him, but specifically he's very into car racing games, Roblox specifically.
Roblox, I feel like, is probably the #1 place that we have seen outside sources trying to contact our kids. We shut down chat very quick. I was kind of, as they were getting into Roblox, I didn't know anything about it, but I would be sitting next to them on the couch and they're like in a chat feature. And I was like, hey, what is happening right now? Who are you talking to? And found out there's this whole wide world that they have access to. And
like last night, I asked our son again, like, have you ever had any random stranger pop into your conversations? He hasn't, but, I know other friends or family that have had that type of scenario occur.
Conversations like pornography and sex and things like that, we're having those with our kids, and people might think that's a little young, but we can't start the conversation too early, in my opinion.
Rather than us trying to shield them from everything that they have exposure to in this world, I want my son to know that if he sees something that makes him uncomfortable, that he can come to us and ask us about it.
I also think you do have to give kids a little bit of leeway to make the right decision. And that a lot of times, similar to sugar when they were younger, if you withhold it all, they're going to want it even more.
One of the biggest problems with online safety is we cope with boredom, anxiety, depression with our screens, and there's just so many risks out there for whether that's like addiction or predators. It's just more time spent online is not as safe.
Given our boys' age, like going off to college makes me nervous about that and online safety and having somebody connect with you on an online chat, for example. But vulnerability is really the biggest thing and biggest concern for me.
As they're getting older, we are exposing them to more things because we know that the conversations are happening outside of our home. And I would rather be the one that's filtering through, and my husband would rather be the one that's filtering through rather than their friends or people in society. And so
I am definitely planning on having a very open conversation with all of my kids in the future about online safety.
The bigger thing is just really having open communication with your kids so that they feel safe. The biggest thing that scares me is I can be as proactive as I want, but what am I missing, right? What's the new app that's been created? What's the new way that they're, reaching out to my kids? Or what's the new access point that my kids are having?
They get a laptop for school, or just using their friends' phones. There's going to be a lot of time coming up where I'm not going to be there. And that does concern me.
We want our kids to be really tech savvy, but with that comes the beasts of avoiding pornography, avoiding predators.
Predators are crafty. There's been so many times that these young 20-year-olds in my life have said, hey, have you heard about this site? And I had no idea about it. That opened me up to a ton of questions to say, what is this for? Why are people doing this? And so it helps me be a better parent because now I'm aware of the things that are out there a little bit more.
I think it's amazing, what we're all being exposed to and that it can be used for good and great entertainment. Watching movies together or that kind of thing is great.
We definitely saw a shift in like watching movies together as a family to more like in their room playing games with friends. And I would say our oldest is probably on his phone more, whereas our youngest is probably more on the computer.
You can't control everything your kids are going to be exposed to outside of the house. What you can control is the conversation you have with your kids on a regular basis and the safety that they feel in talking to you. It's a constantly evolving situation, and so you can never stay fully ahead of it.
Microphone. I could talk again. It had an echo a while ago. I guess y'all noticed that. Okay, this is introducing Our Shield, a new online safety superpower for caregivers and kids. Look how it spells out. Our Shield, right? So O, it stands for open and ongoing conversations. U, understand the platforms. R, rules and responsibilities. S, safety settings and boundaries. H, healthy relationships. I, identify red flags. E, empower and equip critical thinking. L, limit exposure. D, discuss the hard stuff. Can you still hear it okay? Can you hear me okay? Can you still hear it okay? Okay. So it said every minute your child spends online. Okay. Every minute your child spends online without proper defense puts them at risk. Online predators are actively targeting children through social networks and apps, exploiting their innocence and curiosity. The online threats are real, they're growing, and they're happening to families just like yours right now. Don't wait until something happens to your child. Discover our complete Our Shield platform, a stage based safety guide that grows with your child from birth through adolescence. Learn the Our Shield framework that empowers parents with practical tools, age appropriate conversations, and proven strategies to keep children safe online while building their digital confidence and protecting their private information. The digital world won't wait for you to catch up. Your child's safety can't wait either. Let's go ahead and click on that. I like this layup on how it goes right here, the meaning. We are raising a generation of children in a world more connected and complex than before, in an ever evolving digital maze. For toddlers swiping tablets, tweens and group chats, and teens navigating TikTok trends, our kids are growing up in the new Wild West. This digital frontier, rooted in smartphones, social media, and vast online access, shapes their identities, relationships, mental health, and especially their safety. In the United States, children ages 8 and younger spend an average of 2.5 hours a day on screens, with those younger than 2 exceeding an hour daily, according to a recent report from Common Sense Media. The report also found that by age 4, more than half of children had their own tablet, and nearly 1 in 4 had their own phone by age 8. We thought we'd never be the parents who handled our children who handed our children a tablet at the dinner table than really hit, said Jillian, a mother of two girls, ages 10 and 12. You have all these ideas before you start, and then you become a parent and you're kind of in it and doing just the best you can to survive. Parents, guardians, or caregiving roles aren't meant to simply banish our kids from the online world, but rather to properly prepare them for it. Still, many feel overwhelmed with the digital decisions starting earlier than ever. What age do we hand them an iPad? Allow them to game online. Give them a cell phone. Let them join social media. Kelly Crouch, strategic advisor for the Washington State Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force, put it simply: we equip kids to understand stranger danger and not walk to the park alone, yet we give them few guidelines when we hand them a digital device. As parents, we need to have open, honest conversations with our kids and reward them for coming to us. When your child reports bullying or inappropriate content, that should be met with empowerment, not punishment. Parents seek a mindset shift while wrestling with the growing dissonance to delay technology and the simultaneous fear of leaving kids behind. When parents have kids, when they hand them a device, often with access to the far corners of the internet, we rarely offer the same level of guidance as other childhood rites of passage. Just 46 minutes. A leading survey from Kaspersky, a global cybersecurity and digital privacy company, found that while 84% of parents are concerned about their child's online safety, they spend an average of just 46 minutes discussing it with their kids over the course of their entire childhood. 46 minutes? That's less than a few minutes each year of their childhood, which could be attributed to a gap in the tools for parents and caregivers to begin these conversations. It can feel like a no win scenario unless we reframe the conversation as a society. According to John Trenery, our rescue's head of mission in Asia, Africa, and the Middle East. We don't like to believe that the boogeyman is out there. We want to be able to go to bed and know that someone's not going to jump out of the closet. We want to feel safe in our lives. And so ignoring online child sexual exploitation is encouraging the problem. Yeah, a lot of y'all people, parents don't want to hear about it. A lot of y'all say, no, I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to think about it. But guess what? Your kid might go missing one day because you wasn't right there to teach them and to guide them around it, okay? Instead of just thinking, oh, it's taboo to talk about, then they don't feel like they probably could come to you when they do have a problem either. The risk and research. The risks aren't hypothetical and are already impacting young children in a matter of a few clicks. Whether it's exposure to disturbing content, online predators, gaming with strangers, sextortion, pornography, deepfakes, or child sex abuse material, there's a new digital threat every day. Even more alarming, research is showing that the shift from play based childhoods to phone based upbringings is wreaking havoc on kids' mental health. In 2024, Pew Research survey, 48% of U.S. teens reported that the social media had a mostly negative effect on people their age, up from 32% in 2022. According to research from Thorne, 1 in 3 minors ages 9 to 17 reported they have had a sexual interaction online, including 1 in 5 kids ages 9 through 12. Wow. A report from the Common Sense Media found that 73% of teen respondents ages 13 to 17 have watched pornography online, and 15% of teen respondents said they first saw online pornography at age 10 or younger. The average age of viewing pornography was 12 years old, according to Common Sense Media. The FBI and NCMEC have reported a dramatic rise in extortion cases in the past several years after the COVID-19 pandemic. The FBI data shows that law enforcement agencies received over 7,000 reports of online extortion of minors in recent years, involving at least 3,000 victims, primarily boys. So at least a dozen victims have died by suicide. But there is something parents and guardians can do. Introducing our Shield, a new online safety empowerment. Superpower, sorry. So it's got right here, we can see it bigger with the open, ongoing conversations. Just like that. So it'd be good to sit there sometime and maybe go over the OUR, and so you get good with that. And then the next time you go over the next thing, maybe even make a song out of it, right? I know there's a lot of y'all that likes to write lyrics and songs and stuff, and that'd be cool. A good way to teach your kids, right? And to teach yourself as well. Digital safety starts early and grows with your child over their life as you build trust to lay the groundwork for critical conversations. Empowered and educated kids are safer kids no matter the platform. When they know how to navigate evolving technologies, they are more equipped to handle what comes their way. Parents need more than warnings, they need tools and support too. Technology should serve children, not exploit them. So there's open and ongoing conversations. When it comes to digital safety, the best defense begins with dialogue. Start early and talk often. Keep lines of communication open so kids feel safe coming to you with anything they encounter online. In early childhood, brain development is rapidly underway with over 1 million new neural connections forming every second. According to Harvard Center on the Developing Child, at least a stage. However, researchers recommend that screen time be limited and involve co-viewing with the parent or caregiver to provide context and connection. For the first moments with the screen, narrate what they're seeing, what's together, or ensure screens are within your line of sight. This is what exactly Sarah has long practiced alongside her now 11-year-old daughter, who is she describes as curious and highly connected. Well, so Sarah realized it would take more to stay steps ahead of her daughter in the age of digital printing. If I did not have an idea of how hard it was going to be, once she knew what YouTube was, it was like trying to put toothpaste back into the tube. So Sarah, first time we watched her in the VER, I asked, "Who are those people?" She said, "We don't know." If she could talk to them, I had no idea. Trust is the foundation of digital safety. When you build trust and encourage open dialogue, you create space for your child to come to you when you when they need help most. Because to step into their digital world, get to know the apps, games, and websites your kid uses. Ask questions, listen with curiosity, and uh, try to understand how they experience and use technology. Learn where the dangers and protections exist. Presence is one of the best forms of protection. Try a game together. Watch their favorite videos or explore their hobbies, even if it's unfamiliar to you. Sarah, a social media manager, knows the platforms well and still has reservations for her son. Working in social media has made me double down on my goal. Keep him off social media as long as possible. I'm already talking with other moms about delaying phones and social media. It helps when kids know they're not the only ones, she said. Parental controls and privacy settings offer some protections. The kid at this age can also begin learning about their digital footprint and how to critically evaluate what they see online. is our rules and responsibilities. Set age appropriate guidelines for screen time, social media, gaming, and overall device use. Use research from trusted sources to guide what's appropriate. Boundaries help kids feel secure even when they push back, which is a natural part of development. The thing popping up down there keeps getting my attention. I'm sorry. The American Academy of Pediatrics provides screen time guidelines and encourages parents to have frequent, evolving conversations with their children about their online lives. Younger kids may be more open when their screen use happens in shared, visible spaces. Promote digital buddy systems. Tell a friend or adult if you see something harmful. Motke, a Utah mother of a toddler who is pregnant with her second child, says she tried to limit her toddler's screen time to 4 days a week. But we try to keep it under an hour, and it's usually just an educational show. But I try to limit personal devices. I think that iPads and iPhones, I say iPhones too, are a more potent type of stimuli that's a little bit more addictive. Safety settings and boundaries. Keep personal info private for names, addresses, passwords, and school details. Use parental controls, filters, and privacy settings on devices and apps. While not waterproof, these tools provide a helpful framework. Regularly check online activity together like browsing history, app usage, and chats. This is not to spy, but to invite conversation. In middle childhood, kids begin to explore more independently, making it an ideal time to introduce clear boundaries, age appropriate safety lessons, and critical thinking skills. Teach children to recognize red flags like unsolicited messages or requests for personal information and use role play to practice how to respond. A Pew Research Center survey recently found about half of parents polled looked through their teen's phone. As a homeschooling mom of two daughters and a longtime youth ministry leader, Jillian has seen firsthand how fast kids can be drawn to the online platforms and how difficult it is for parents to stay a step ahead. We had no doors closed, no headphones on in the house. Tell my kids they can have privacy when they move out of the house. We're constantly looking at their search history, web browser history, and have a ton of apparel controls, especially with Roblox. Sorry about that, have a ton of parental controls, sorry, especially with Roblox. That's an apparel. And they can't do that chat feature at all, said Jillian. My grandson plays Roblox, and he's all the time saying, "Mom, I need a new outfit for this, and I need a new outfit." I'm like, "Son, I hope you keep your tabs on him when he plays this game." Last, don't simply pull the plug. Taking away access can backfire instead. Collaborate on a solution that addresses the issue and empowers them to be a part of the solution. There's healthy relationships, but there's what it's on now. Model respectful, balanced technology use. Young people are rapidly developing their digital identities and social lives. Conversations should be frequent and judgment free, covering mental health, relationships, and the influence of algorithms. Show how you manage your screen time and online interactions. Be a judgment free zone so your child feels safe sharing their concerns or questions. I had unrealistic expectations of what type of relationship my child went would have with screens. Once their interests expand and their friends are doing certain things online, some of those expectations go out the window, said Kristen, a mother of a 6-year-old boy. We utilize screens sometimes just to free up a little bit of time to get things done. We both work full time. Life is busy. Even with the whirlwind pace of life, It's helpful to be curious about their interest, whether it's a trend, game, or an online friend group. Learn the lingo. Stay up to date on the terms and slang teens are using. Your interest builds your influence. That kind of vulnerability builds connection and safety. Talk openly about your own digital habits, mistakes, and lessons learned. Identify red flags. Teach kids from the beginning to recognize warning signs online. Strangers asking for private info, flattery, secrecy, or anything that feels off. In just 19 minutes, online predators can initiate contact with a minor. According to the We Protect Global Alliance, remind them that when someone has a bad day, they may be more vulnerable to manipulation. Model help seeking behavior. If something feels weird, tell me right away. Ask, what would you do if something fell off? Help them risk through help them think through possible scenarios and how they would respond. Tweets may become private but regular. Respectful check-ins are still vital. Curiosity-based questions like what's something interesting you've seen online this week can keep dialogue open. Parents should watch for mood changes or withdrawals, which may signal online issues, and foster empathy by encouraging healthy online friendships and discussing topics like cyberbullying, sextortion, and respectful communication. If you notice a shift in behavior, trust your gut. Empower and equip critical thinking. Encourage kids to pause and ask, is this real? Is this safe? Should I tell someone? And who is it safe to tell? Empower them to respond with confidence and come to you without fear of punishment. Practice and repeat what to do if they encounter harmful or uncomfortable messages or online content. Growing independence and exposure to social media require a deeper focus on media literacy, self regulation, and emotional intelligence. The American Academy of Pediatrics emphasizes the importance of guiding children to question the reliability of online sources and to think before sharing content. When teens need authority, they benefit from continued adult guidance and modeling of healthy tech benefits. Last, teach resilience tools such as to cope with distressing content, navigate complex social dynamics, and recognize manipulative behavior. These skills prepare them to thrive in a connected world. Tia, a mother of two boys, ages 17 and 20, has reaped the rewards of this approach, understanding that open conversations, even trust. About 16 or 17 is when we started to feel more comfortable. We had a lot of conversations early on about internet safety, said Tia. Now that my youngest is older, we know he's going to do a sleepover, and all the buddies are bringing their video games, and that's okay. He's old enough to make those decisions. Another's limit exposure. Sorry. The American Academy of Pediatrics recommends creating a personalized family media plan that includes expectations around screen time, device use, and online behavior. Foundational digital habits help children and teens build routines rooted in human interaction and creativity. Keep devices out of bedrooms and create screen-free zones. Set time limits and build routines that prioritize sleep and mental health. Encourage co-play and screen sharing. Talk about who they can interact with online. Lindsay, a mother of a 13-year-old, understands this retention well. Her son is one of the last in his class without a cell phone. I worry I disconnected him from his peers, she admits, but he's neurodivergent and more vulnerable to online harms. In my gut, I know he's not ready to have this device in the palm of his hand. Agree on boundaries together to build trust and consistency. Involve your child in setting boundaries so they can feel ownership. So now discuss the hard stuff. To talk openly about serious risk like pornography, sextortion, child sex abuse material, and deep fakes in age appropriate ways. Stay informed. Sextortion is one of the biggest dangers currently affecting teens. Sarah's having these conversations with her daughter after another child in her extended family had a near brush with a sextortion scam. He was chatting with someone he thought was a girl on the Instagram. Then the person asked for $5,000 or sent explicit photos to top 10 people of his account. They sent 5,000 or they will send 10, well, they'll send explicit photos. They shut it down, but they still sent the photos. The American Psychological Association emphasizes that social media can both benefit and harm adolescents, depending on how it's used, outlining recommendations to ensure that teens develop healthy social media practices. The experiences of teen girls on social media skew more negative at times. Teen girls are more likely than boys to say social media hurt their mental health, confidence, or sleep, according to a Pew report. When you hit send, it's out there. Help them understand the permanence of online actions. Talk about reputation, privacy, and audience. Would you post this for a future employee or family member if they saw it? Shield is strong for the future. A shield stands for more than protection, but symbolizes boundaries and empowerment. It's also a tool to stand strong from both physical and emotional harm. We can't shield them from everything, but we can give them the confidence to ask questions and trust their gut, said Christian mother of 6-year-old Kevin. In the spirit, our shield is designed to meet families where they are, helping parents stay more informed and connected to their kids. This guide also helps kids learn to think, ask for help, and feel safe online. With our Shield platform, we gather guidance for discussions throughout their childhood, broken down by 3 different age groups from birth to early childhood, middle childhood, and adolescence. Platforms and technology will change and continue to advance. But what remains deeply foundational in our online journeys are the lessons within our Shield, meant to evolve with our digital world and our families. Together, let's raise a generation of kids who are not just shielded but strong. Our rescue's greatest hope is that it becomes a movement to build astute and aware digital citizens all over a lifetime. Okay, stop share. I want to thank you for coming. I hope this was good information for you. God bless y'all, and y'all be hyper vigilant for your kids, your grandkids, for neighbors. Anything you see something, you say something. Thank y'all so much. God bless y'all.